Good afternoon, everybody, for this Wind Down Wednesday. It's Laurie Westheimer here from Coldwell Banker Heritage, and I'm broadcasting to you this Wednesday, April the 8th, 2020, with some hopeful information about our real estate market. So today we had our monthly brokerage meeting, and we had to do it via Zoom call because, like everyone else, we are in the stay-at-home order. And although we are allowed to work, we are still having to deal with the same social distancing and safety measures that everyone else is dealing with. So it's definitely not business as usual, but we did receive some very good information and promising information about the real estate market as we enter into the second week of April. So I'm going to share my screen just so I can explain it a little bit better of what I learned. So this is a slide that our broker actually prepared when she was curious about what is actually going on in the real estate market as the result of the stay-at-home order. And what she did is she pulled all of the 2020 March pending sales. And this is not just our brokerage, this is the entire area. These areas are some of the major areas of the Dayton MLS. And of course, right here we have RIST, which is the Miami County market, and Cincy is of course Cincinnati. So these are all the homes that went pending in March. And she wanted to know what happened to those homes, or what happened to sales. Did they drop off after we had the stay-at-home order? And you can see over here in this column, this is everything that happened after March 15th. And what's very surprising and very interesting is the percentage of growth since the stay-at-home order went into place. This is the number, or the percentage of homes that were pending in March after we were told to stay at home. So you can see that it actually increased, which is just a huge surprise for everyone, I think. So what does that mean? So we are entering what normally would be one of the strongest seasons of the year, the spring season. And of course, just as we were entering that market, we got hit with the stay-at-home order and virus fears and just a lot of fear. But what we can do as agents is we can do research and we can tell you what we anticipate to happen. And of course, we rely on economic experts. And of course, I'm going to share my screen again. So this is from Keeping Current Matters. So the next big thing, we know what's happened so far as of the end of March, but what's going to happen going forward as we continue into another month of staying at home. So what the major financial institutions nationally are anticipating is this V-type of recovery. Once we get through the stay-at-home order, what they're anticipating, you can see this giant drop in gross domestic product. But as we enter the third quarter, it's supposed to rebound quite nicely. So, and why do they think that? We have to know where they're coming from. So basically, they look back in history and they look at past pandemics to decide what's going to happen. I mean, any test of history is that it's going to likely repeat itself or be very similar. So what we know is that epidemics such as SARS, the Hong Kong, the Asian flu, and the Spanish flu also created this V-type of recovery. And the V-type of recovery was also very promising if that is the case, because during these types of recessions that can recover quickly, what they notice is that it does little damage to home prices. So while we might have a little bit of a pause over everything that's going on, we don't anticipate any giant impact into our data, or into our future of home buying and selling. And one of the other things I wanted to point out is a lot of people are asking whether this is going to be similar to the 2008 recession. And you can see there's lots of reasons why people think it's not going to be like that. But one of the things they note is that in 2007, going into that recession, we had an 8.2 month supply of homes. Now, whenever you're trying to decide whether it's a buyer's market or a seller's market, what they measure is the months of supply. And a flat market or a stable market is a 6-month supply. So you can see going into the 2008 recession, we were well above stable. We had 8.2 month supply, which created a very strong buyer's market before that. But what we have been experiencing for the last as many years as I can recall is a very limited inventory market. Less than 2 months as we were entering into the, in the winter months. Now we are at about a 3-month supply. And I did check this against our local data as well. I ran the numbers and we are at about a three-month supply going into the spring season. And whenever you want to look at what does that mean, supply and demand, well, you can see a stable neutral market is a 6 to 7 month supply. Anything above that is a buyer's market, and anything below that is a seller's market. So what we've been seeing clearly is a lot of demand, a lot of multiple offer situations, and that did not stop once we entered into the stay-at-home order. So I guess the next thing to really kind of point out as well is that we also measure the number of contracts that have been canceled since all this happened. We were curious to find out whether more contracts are being canceled once people found out, they had some instability in their lives. And the promising information is that, there are contracts that get canceled every month in any market, year after year. And last year's data compared to this year's data is pretty flat. So it is not increasing. So that's a very promising statistic as well. And I personally have, since the stay-at-home order, closed 3 transactions, and I have another 4 closing next week, and everything looks good. So we are definitely checking that, but it is definitely something that we are seeing as a promising note. So the other thing that drives it is interest rates. Now, those are changing daily, and I am not a lender, but if you have any questions about lending and how all of this is affecting everything, do reach out. We do know of some programs that are happening for first responders that are beneficial to them, some incentives. I know they're probably a little busy right now, but there is some hope for them and incentives and as a thank you going into the next few months. And definitely reach out if you have any questions about that. One of the other things we're noting, and it's probably not too surprising, is that online traffic has gone through the roof. It's up about 35%, and it's probably because everyone is at home and they can't go anywhere, so they're on the internet. But our online traffic to our listings, inquiries about homes, is definitely up. We are seeing, essentially, the analysis is that people are online shopping and they're putting things into their Amazon cart. And while they might not be checking out right now, they're definitely looking and they're definitely anticipating what's going to happen when they're able to get back out and look at homes. So we do anticipate, what does all this mean? We do anticipate that this is going to continue to be a seller's market. Once the lights get turned back on fully and we can do our business as usual, we do anticipate there to be another season of strong demand. And even though it's not business as usual for us, I mean, we're having to adhere to a lot of different safety precautions, a little bit of challenges. We are meeting those challenges with technology. In the same way that I'm broadcasting to you, this is how I'm doing my listing presentations. I am able to meet my clients face to face, although not sharing the same air, to go over my marketing plan, all of my data, and also give them or get a home tour from them. The same way that I'm sharing screens, they're sharing screens or using FaceTime to give me their home tour. So while some people are holding off on actually listing, we are able to get everything ready so that when the lights come back on and everyone's out of the gate, we have some inventory to give them. So if you're somebody who's thinking about it and you just want to wait until this is all over, that is completely fine. But I do highly recommend that you at least consider having a consult via Zoom call, and we can go over your plan and figure out what to do next. So that's about it. I'm sorry. I really do appreciate all of your time. I hope everyone is doing really well out there. Stay safe, stay smart, and we will be there when all this gets back. So best of luck to you. Reach out. We can do buyer consults. We can do seller consults. and we can do this and be ready to roll once everything's back to normal. Thanks.